Hello, I'm Daniel Eade and welcome to Hoop Scoop on Gauge TV. Tonight it's the top of the table clash between the South Dragons and the New Zealand Breakers, with news just coming to hand that CJ Bruton will play tonight for the Breakers. Let's have a look at the game preview. It's 1 versus 2 on the NBL ladder tonight. Both teams with 6 players averaging over 10 points per game. Coming up next, it's Joe Ingles and the South Dragons taking on Rick Rickett and the New Zealand Breakers. Here are the highlights. With Kirk Penny opening the game with his offensive arsenal set on high, the New Zealand Breakers jumped out of the blocks as the league's MVP favourite landed one from deep. Inside, the player's so nice they named him twice. Rick Rickett extended the lead to 7-zip before Penny lined up and drained another triple. Crashing the glass, Rickett went up to slam home the tip, and when Penny shook himself free to score on the inside once and then twice, the Breakers' lead was 18-4 after 5.5 minutes. It was then time for the South Dragons to unload their early game shackles as Mark Worthington and then Reece Carter would line up and splash home a pair of threes. Providing the home team with some instant offense off the bench, Dante Smith dropped in 2 points off the Carter lob and then almost brought the house down on a baseline drive as he catapulted himself up for the dunk, settling for the 2 freebies instead. With his stroke in rhythm, Smith pulled up off the dribble and hit a long 2. The Dragons then pressuring the Breakers into a turnover, with Tremel Darden planning to go to infinity and beyond before he was hammered by Paul Henare and sent to the charity stripe. The Dragons would draw within 1 point as Nathan Herbert got himself free to score, and when Nick Horvath leapt up high to slam home the rebound, the Dragons led for the first time. But New Zealand would go into the first break with a 2-point lead, 27-25, after Oscar Foreman would land a Trey Punte in the final seconds of the period. Opening the second quarter, Tony Ronaldson would land a short 2-metre putt and then fired home the trifecta. And when Rickett tipped in another 2, the Breakers were up 7. Like a gazelle, Smith then floated to the rim to bring the home team a little bit closer. But the Breakers responded as Foreman went to the bang-bang, shoot-em-up movies and landed 2 triples through the net as the lead got out to 11 points. Through Joe Ingles, the Dragons started to charge back into the contest, and then Gibson flew over the top of Dylan Boucher to finger roll the deuce. From the right wing, Worthington took the ball all the way to the hole and then mirrored the move a minute later from the left side. Despite being outnumbered, Darden would grab the offensive rebound and score, and when Mika Vukona went up to spin some reverse English off the glass, the lead for the Breakers had dwindled to 5 points. With a touch of poise, Phil Jones would hit a floating runner and Ronaldson would land another triple for the visitors as they remained ahead. With the first half winding down, Carter would connect on another tray and then got himself all the way to the rack to drop in another 2. New Zealand up at the half, 55-50. The Dragons got the lead down to a single point, opening the second half with Darden scoring in the post and then Worthington banked home the mid-range jumper, before Gibson would float the ball up high over the defence to score in another 2 points. Responding through Foreman, the Breakers would keep their noses in front, and when Penny parted the Red Sea to score 2 more, he felt the after effects from Worthington. From outside, Foreman would drop another 1 from deep, as the Breakers held a 7-point buffer with 5 minutes remaining in the third quarter. The home team would answer as Carter popped 1 from outside the arc, but CJ Bruton would come right back down and drop a 3 at the other end. The Dragons would cut back into the lead, Worthington sinking the 3 from the top of the key, but again the Breakers would respond, Jones swishing the ball from the outside. On the final play of the third period, Carter would bank home the trifecta, New Zealand ahead 79-74 at the 3-quarter time change. The fourth period opened up with Carter slicing the Dragons' deficit down to 3 points, and when Darden saved the ball off the offensive glass, Worthington reaped the benefits and it was a 1-point game. Following Gibson's free throws to give the Dragons the lead, Darden pushed it out to 3 before Penny would level the game up at 85-all with a huge triple in front of the Dragons' bench. A long 2 from Smith would keep the home team slightly in front, but again Penny lined up and drained a massive dagger from deep. Gibson answered back for the black team as he unloaded from behind the arc, but at the other end, Penny spotted up and sunk another shot from behind the line. Foreman would then spot up and land another triple, giving the Breakers the lead. With 2:53 left to play, Smith would sink 1 from 2 from the line, and the scores were level at 96 apiece. Getting position in the paint, Ronaldson would give the Breakers the lead with the basket and the foul, but the bonus wasn't good. The Dragons would take the lead with 2:15 to play as Gibson caught the ball locked and loaded and nailed the three. But the Breakers would answer back, Ronaldson taking the ball to the basket and scoring, New Zealand ahead 100-99. With 10 seconds to play and the Dragons trailing by 1 point, Darden took the ball to the basket, but Boucher stripped the ball loose and the Dragons were forced to foul. Penny strolled to the line where he was an 82% free throw shooter this season and uncharacteristically missed a pair of freebies, giving the Dragons a final chance to win the game. Carter attacked the rim and drew the foul with 1.2 seconds on the clock. Venturing to the foul line, he would miss the first, but rattle home the second, locking the scores up at 100 all. New Zealand had 1.2 seconds to get a shot off and run a brilliant play for Oscar Foreman, whose potential game winner was a fraction of an inch off, and we were headed for overtime. In the extra period, Ingles got the first field goal with a layup after the stutter. The lead crept out to 4 points when Carter dumped the ball down low to Vacona, who scored off the window. Rickett got it back for the Breakers with a move in the middle to cut the deficit to 2 points with 1:50 to play. Carter then got himself free long enough to fire away and drop in a massive three-pointer to extend the Dragons' lead to 5 with 1:33 to play. But with the defense draped all over him, Penny managed to somehow launch and connect on another triple to bring the Breakers within 2. Then, in a crazy play phase, Smith would attempt to hammer home a dunk, and the ball would ricochet off the rim and out into the hands of Penny, who would take the ball the distance for the basket and the foul. The scores all level at 109 with 52.4 seconds left to play. Here is the final 52 seconds. Penny would miss the free throw. The Dragons controlling the rebound. Herbert's three put the Dragons ahead 112-109 with 33 seconds on the clock. Bruton would lock the game up at 112 with 23 seconds left to play. Carter firing home the game winner with 1.9 seconds on the clock. The Dragons winning the game of the season, 115-112.
Great game of basketball. I'm just saying, I keep saying that people are missing, I think the sport right now is, that's as good a regular season game and as much talent on a court is my time at the NBL. You go back to the heydays or whenever, and I just thought it was played at an unbelievably high level.
I'm sure everyone who was here would agree it was a great game of basketball. You know, it was two teams going at it, some unbelievable shots being made. It was worthy of a 1-2 clash, and you know, I'm proud of our team, the way we played and the way we fought, and it came down to who made a shot at the end. It was awesome, an overtime game. I think if you can't enjoy that, you don't enjoy sport at all.